Hey beautiful souls, it's your girl J Arius the Aquarius. And in this video, I'm gonna share my appendix removal story. And I know this is something that happens a lot. You know, people get appendicitis and stuff, but I didn't have acute appendicitis. My appendix got taken out and it was a spiritual attack. And I feel like this happens to more people and other people more than we're aware of, and it's very unfortunate. We are very aware of the human trafficking stuff going on, right? So we know how the governments really see us at the end of the day. We are their cattle. Like, let's just be honest, you know? And before I get into my story, I just wanted to tell, sorry, I thought my baby boy is sleeping, I just thought I woke him up. But before I get into the story, I want to tell, I watched this one video on Instagram last week, and it was about I think they were in Texas, but this mom and dad, their son was on life support, and he had put on his license that he wanted to be an organ donor. And basically the doctors went ahead and pulled the plug because they were like, you know, he offered to be an organ donor, so we're going to take his organs. And in the video you could just see it was so heartbreaking, but the mom and dad were like, you know, no, this is not what we wanted. This is not what we wanted. This is not what we wanted. Just because he said he was going to be an organ donor does not give you permission to take our son off life support, right? I don't know if anybody else has seen that video, but it really is disheartening. It's so horrible. It's so horrible. But this is happening more often than not, okay? And this is happening as we speak. And I noticed, like, when I was going through my surgery and when I was talking to people about it, the amount of people who have had their appendix taken out. And then, when I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but when I actually got the call back from the lady about the results, she was kind of like, you know, like, hey, like, you know, this happens quite a bit, you know. And anyone who watches this and you're like, let's say you're a surgeon, you're a doctor, I'm not coming for you, okay? But in a way, I am coming for the corrupt system that we live in and that we work for, right? So, and I just want to bring awareness. I know that not all doctors out there, not everyone out there in a white coat has bad intentions. Understand that, right? And this is why I'm also trying to bring up, use your discernment with Western medication. Use your discernment, right? So, moving into my story. So, in December 2024, right before I had a real big spiritual initiation, and you know, let's say that, let me put the higher ups, or whatever, right? So above 4D, they can kind of see what's going on ahead of time before a lot of us can, right? So basically, it was a spiritual you see how they're trying to hijack my throat. But anyways, it was a spiritual attack by the reversals. Hear me out, okay? So it was a timeline splice, okay? The appendix, and I have the notes here for it because the appendix is so much more than just holding your good gut bacteria, which is awesome in itself. And they'll try to tell you like, oh, you don't need it, you'll move on, it is what it is. And you know, sadly, that's what we've been gaslit as human beings to think. But you know, we have our appendix in our body for a reason, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna read that to you right now. So really, your appendix holds like your ancestral wealth, okay? It holds your timelines. Like, so before you came into incarnation, the certain, you know, timelines that would conspire, right? Things that would play out from your Akashic records, or again, things that you, contracts and things like that, that plays out through your appendix, is also very connected to your solar plexus area and your sacral area. So, you know, your gut instinct, that also plays in with the appendix, okay? So, they say the appendix is useless, but that's a lie. In anatomy, the appendix is a microtemporal antenna. It holds memory, mission, gut instinct. Mine was removed just as I was having a major awakening. Coincidence? Nah, we don't believe in coincidences, right? It was an attempt to duel my digestion of the truth, spiritual and ancestral. Because right around that time, I really was starting to like, you know, be like, okay, you guys are my family, I love you, but this is detrimental to my fucking well-being. Like, I'm gonna have to love you from a distance, and I really had to break myself apart from that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a 4th houser, so there you go. I'm a Jupiter in Cancer, things like that. I got a lot of moon energy going on, so I'm very tied to my ancestors and things like that. I had a lot of ancestral karmic debt to clear that I came in holding, okay? So I just thought I would share that about the appendix, because if anybody else has had an appendix removal, and I'm going to go on with my story, okay? If this stirs anything in you, if you've had, let's say it was an appendix removal, you had some kind of surgery, a faulty surgery, and you guys know exactly what I mean when I say that, like, they tell you it was by accident, or we made a mistake. Okay, so maybe the doctors here in the 3D, right, they're not doing anything specific with that organ, which I'm going to be honest, sometimes they probably are, okay? But let's look at it in a spiritual sense, from behind the scenes, okay? Why would they want to do that? Okay, so we have multiple layers of bodies, right? Your etheric body is like level 1, okay? And you got your physical body. So if your physical body, if you get like a cut, a scrape, like let's say you walk outside and you walk down the stairs and you literally trip and you get a little scrape, that puts a cut in your aura and that gives them a way in, the reversals, right? So this video is not going to be for everybody if you don't understand what the reversals are and things like that. Sorry, I just had to disclaim that because, like, I don't know, I don't really want to sit here and just be like, this is who they are, this is what they're about, because a lot of us are aware of that, and I don't want to give them more power. I really don't want to give them more power than they already have, right? And this is why it's so important for you guys to, like, you know, call back in those soul aspects of yourself that have been traumatized, and to witness them, to embrace them. Even if you're sitting there bawling your eyes out, crying, it's emotion, you're feeling, you're releasing that energy. You're no longer holding on to that energy. Trust me, I used to be a crybaby when I was a kid. I used to cry all the time. I used to cry when I was pissed, happy, mad, sad, glad. You know what I'm saying? But it's a way of releasing energy, okay? So back in December 2024, I had went to the ER with my son, and I went there for my son because I thought he was sick, and he had like a acute cold or something like that. And I was like, you know what, I'm here, I don't feel good either, I might as well get checked on. And they're like, you know, we want to go do some x-rays on you because you've been here for the past few months, we've been seeing you recently, so there's got to be something going on. So they did some x-rays, and they come back and they're like, you know, you're gonna have to be staying here, you're gonna have to call into your job, we're gonna have to rush you over to a hospital that's gonna be able to do surgery. And me, I was scared, like, honestly, I felt like my heart was in my ass, because I mean, I ran into a brick wall when I was like in first grade, and I got stitches, but other than that, I never had a surgery. I mean, I had like the flu and like COVID and stuff like that, but I've never really got like majorly sick. I've always been healthy, never broken a bone. You know what I'm saying? So like, I was like, surgery, what the hell? They put you under anesthesia. I didn't know what was going to be happening. You know, I'm very like that. I'm like, you know, I'm also like tapped in. So like, I'm not really completely stupid, that I understand that some of them actually want to help people and some of them don't, right? They're just getting their money and they're just going to do what's laid in front of them, right? And, you know, no judgmental, because there's a lot of people, I've even operated that way just to get by, right? Just to get by. And we call these the NPCs, right? The people who just haven't woken up yet and claim their sovereignty. But we're not judging them. We got to give them grace, and we got to hold space for them, because at the end of the day, they are our brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying everybody is, you know, not all skin folk are kinfolk. Okay, remember that. I had to learn that the hard way too. But basically, long story short, I got the surgery a month later. She calls me, the girl calls me, and, you know, she's like, you know, so every time we do a surgery, we like to take a little bit of the organ, we like to do our own testing on it just to see if there's any other disease or anything else going on in there. And, you know, good news, you know, your appendix was fine. There was nothing in it, you know, like we didn't see any sickness, and you didn't even have acute appendicitis. And I was like, you know, I was like, and now I think about it, I was like, I hope I wasn't being rude, but honestly, no. But I was like, so you guys just took it out for no reason? Because literally. And then she was like, well, you see, like, these things happen a lot of times. They actually happen more often than not. You know, there could be all kinds of different things that happen between the paperwork from the hospital to the surgeon, or, you know, sometimes the nurses don't see exactly what they think they're seeing and things like that. And like I said, I give grace, because I get it, we're human beings. And in my particular case, am I saying that the people were targeting me? No. But am I saying that they were getting used by the reversals to target me? Yes. Okay. And this is how I feel like their attempt at splicing my timeline, this is how they had their plan was, is because, so, you know, I have a past with addiction, so they were like, okay, let's get her in surgery. Boom, pills, right? But no, okay? It's deeper than that. Let's get in there because we can also try to burrow something in there, right? And then, what, 2 years, 3 years, I'd be like, you know, thank God I'm on this spiritual journey, because I'd be like, you know, probably having multiple personality disorders and shit, and while I'm hosting a whole other fucking entity inside of me. But this is happening more often than not. And I want to bring awareness to this. I'm part of the Striker dismantle teams. This is what I do up there. This is what I came here to do now. I'm going to bring awareness to this shit. This video is not for everybody, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if you felt like you've been robbed of an organ, let's say you've had an accidental surgery, or let's say you know, I feel so bad for that family, I really do. You've lost somebody you've loved because they were an organ donor. They got took too soon because of that. Okay? This is an epidemic. This needs to be stopped. And I know you guys are like, oh, Jay's talking again, or maybe this is just my inner voice, right? Like, just shut up, it's not about me, whatever. It's not, because this was something small, but it was very big and major for me, because if I would have went on that other timeline, it wasn't gonna happen though, because my oversoul got me like that. My guardians got me, but like, they're doing it to people in all types of ways, not just an appendicitis or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Any kind of surgery, things like that, major car crash. I mean, it's really sick. It's really rough to listen and hear, but it's the truth. If this resonated with you, this stirred something in you, give us a comment. If you guys have a story, I would love to hear it, because you deserve to be heard. Okay? And I am offering Starseed chart readings now. You can get my summer sale 25% off, and you can get that for $41. You're not going to regret it. It's going to change your life. It's basically going to give you a key to your multidimensional self. You know what I'm saying? Because you are the key, but this will give you another key to kind of understanding, and for you to play with the information and take what's yours, take what's not, what resonates. It's just so much fun, and it's a beautiful experience to find out who you are multidimensionally, because if you really want to heal and you want to ascend, you're going to have to go up, not just down where we're at right now and focus here, right? So, absolute love, absolute healing, absolute love, omni love. And I will talk to you guys in the next transmission. It took me like 3 times to try to record this video, because I just gotta get out of my head. I'm so insecure about my voice. I've been silenced a lot in my life and things like that, and I don't want to seem self-absorbed, but in a way, like, I know that I've been through a lot of shit and that it can help people. And, you know, especially people who are sensitive like me, people who are tapped in. And when everybody wants to look at you like you got a big clown nose on your nose, I'm here to tell you that you're not a fucking clown, okay? And that you are divine. And you are very loved, okay? And if not by anybody else, by me. But always remember, you are loved by the Prime Creator and your guardians. You're never alone. The word alone in itself is a fucking spell, which I've already explained that, but I'm going on. I'm rambling. And that's also why I try to take notes and read off that, and I try to do the voiceovers, because I'll go everywhere, but I do like to be intimate and personal. I like this kind of video with you guys, but I'm gonna get off here. I love you.